been a few days since I've been able to catch up on doing some recording, and I've definitely been doing lots of bits and pieces on the chest. So want to catch you up on just all those little things that have been going on here in the shop. Right now you can see in front of me I actually have the lid assembled. So it's in these clamps and with the domino joinery, so that's drying. And my next step actually is to start working on the hinges. The rest of the chest is assembled, and I will show you that as well. So what I've been doing for the last few days, I started pre-finishing the panels, which I talked about before. So and my finished process there, and actually for the whole piece, is about 3 or 4 coats of diluted boiled linseed oil on the outer surfaces, followed by a couple coats of shellac brushed on, followed by 1 coat rubbed on with a little bit of sanding in between, and then finally rubbing all that out with some steel wool. So did that process on the inside of the panels. Used just shellac. I didn't want any oil, off gassing. It takes a long time for that stuff to cure, and I didn't want that, that odor being trapped inside the chest. So just shellac on the inside, and I haven't done the frame parts yet. Since I was pre-finishing the panels, I wanted to go ahead and start pre-finishing some of the frame parts, especially where it was just meeting that panel, so that when I went and finished the rest of the frame parts, I wasn't getting really close into that panel. So I started doing that, and I figured, well, geez, I may as well just pre-finish all the whole frame part. So I actually went through and just did all the outer surfaces of the frame parts, not the intersections, and I followed my finishing process all the way for all the frame parts, for all the outer sections. And so now that the lid is assembled and the base is assembled, the whole thing is already finished on the outside. There are a few places I'll have to go back and touch up, and I'll show you that. But for the majority, everything is completely finished. I'll probably follow up just with a little bit of wax for some more protection. But other than that, it is all finished. Here is the front of the case, which is now fully assembled, and you can see the K here that is all finished, and the panel is all finished. During the assembly process, I first assembled this front panel. And this K, the curved parts are glued onto the panel in the center, 25 or 30%, and then the rest are screwed from the back. So out here in this area, out here, there are screws behind here and behind here that are slotted to allow the panel to float up and down. And over in this area is the part that's glued. And I also have glue up in this section and that section to keep it all in place. So I assembled this front panel first, and then I had to work on some of the details to finish it up. So let's take a closer look at those details. So over at this end of the K, I've got the little serifs right there at the end. These little pieces that stick out here at the top and at the bottom. And I think those little details really make this piece great, really make the K stand out. So what I had to do after attaching the curved parts, I went ahead and added the style there behind that little unfinished piece was already there. And so I just had to stick on sort of a 1/4 inch thick little piece there with the profile that I wanted. And the same at the bottom. So right down here, you can see both the left and right have, stick out a little bit. So I've got to finish those little parts up, but I had to sand those. Once the front was all together, I sanded to the profile I wanted and gave it more support, some blocks behind. This curved part here is only about 1/4 inch thick. And so I have a big block behind here that's like 1.5 inches and a little piece here, a little piece here stuck on. These front pieces are from the same material as this. The back pieces you don't really see anyway, but they're from the other walnut. So I did that top and bottom, got those pieces just to the profile I wanted. and now I have to go through a finish process on those little sections, obviously to match them up to the finish on the rest. So that was the process for assembling the front, was to do the whole thing and then add those little details. And then assembling the back was really straightforward, just simple frame and panel, and then put the sides on. And here's just a quick shot showing the case, the front here, and then around the side, you know, cherry and walnut panels to the back rails, and the inside, which currently does not have a bottom. I'll be adding that. But the rest is fully assembled and almost all finished other than those little parts. So final steps, I need to do a little bit more finish work on the outside, just a few places to touch up. I've got to finish the inside of the frame parts, and that'll just be a couple coats of shellac just for some protection on the inside. And then I need to mill and put in the bottom, which will be shiplapped, and I probably need a couple of rails on the bottom for the bottom to rest on. And of course I need to put on the lid hinges on the lid in the case, and that I think will be all.